Hey, welcome to this emergency 49ers quality control meeting. In a minute, I will let Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Trey Lance into the room, and I will address them directly. And then after that, I will make my prediction for week 2, score prediction, who's going to win, and then I will take your calls. So first, I'm going to address the three biggest people on the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Trey Lance individually. Why don't you guys come in? Take a seat in the front, wherever you like. I'm going to address you individually, but I want you all to stay here I want you all to hear what I'm going to say to each of you. So let's start with the head coach. Kyle Shanahan, I'm talking to you. You look terrible. No offense. You look like you haven't slept all week. And I get it. If I were in your position, I wouldn't be sleeping either. Because you're in a position where you pretty much the whole football world is laughing at you. All your peers, all the other geniuses in the football world that you thought you were a part of are looking at you thinking you're a dork. Apparently, they don't like Trey Lance, Sean Payton, Mike Martz. They think you're wrong. And it seems like the whole world is trying to force you to go back to the quarterback you don't want, Jimmy Garoppolo. And according to your best friend, Chris Sims, there are players on your team who want to go back to Jimmy Garoppolo, which probably is what keeps you up at night. Is that true? If so, what do? Do I go against the will of my players? You know what you do? You win this week, Kyle. You beat the Seahawks. You end this conversation right now. So, and you know that. You know this is a must-win game. If you lose, you might have to bench the quarterback that you want to play and pull the plug on the project that you know you need to see through. So you're upset. I get it. How are you going to win this game, Kyle? Well, that's why you're here. I'm going to help you. I'm going to tell you. You have to find a running back that's going to take over this game. If you don't, you're going to lose. You know it. This team is not built to drop back and beat anyone at this point. You got to run the ball. And you can't have Trey Lance being your leading rusher. It can't be Debo. It's got to be a running back. If you had Elijah Mitchell, you would have won last week. If you had Elijah Mitchell, you would win this week. It would be easy. You give him 20 carries. That's that. Game over. But you don't. So what are you going to do, Kyle? Here's what you can't do. Give 20 carries to Jeff Wilson Jr. and live and die by his result. He might be good enough. He might not. But you can't just give him all the carries and feud to Debo and then lose and then come to the podium afterward and tell the press, well, that's the only running back I trusted. Can't happen. So what your job is, Kyle, is to rotate your running backs early. You have to find the hot hand in the first quarter. Not the second quarter, not the third quarter, the first quarter. So whoever you want to start, I don't care. If that person's good, stick with them. If not, try someone else. If Jeff Wilson Jr. isn't getting it done, try Jordan Mason. If Jordan Mason isn't getting it done, try Davis Price. Try Ty Davis Price. If he ain't getting it done, try Marlon Mack. And if none of those 4 guys can get it done, you're going to lose. And you probably should have drafted someone other than Ty Davis Price in round 3. It's on you, man. You got 4 running backs. Find one that works. One of them has to be good. I'm thinking it's Jordan Mason. Find him. If you don't find him, you're going to lose. And then everyone's going to blame your quarterback, and you're going to have to go back to Jimmy Garoppolo, and you're going to have a miserable year. And you're not going to win the Super Bowl. So that's the first thing. Second thing, honestly, if you just find the right running back, you'll win. Simple as that. But there's a couple more things you need to do along the way. One, stop using Trey Lance as your short yardage back. Stop that. I mean, I get it if you're at the goal line, get that touchdown, baby. But 3rd and 2, midfield, quarterback power. You called that a bunch just so he could run, get 3. He got the first down. Run, get 3 yards, and get tackled by 3 linebackers. Do we really need to weigh the risk reward right here, Kyle? You're going to run Trey into the ground, get him hurt for a 3-yard gain at midfield. You can't get that first down any other way. You can't figure out another way to get 2 yards. You're smart, right? I thought you're the best. You don't have to do that. And frankly, it's stupid. You're not stupid. That's stupid. Trey Lance is not your short yardage back. I thought that's why you drafted Ty Davis Price in the 3rd round, to get 2 yards. No one can get 2 yards other than your quarterback. That's stupid. If he gets hurt picking up a first down on a called quarterback power, that's your fault. That's your quarterback. I mean, you already got RG3 hurt. He was just scrambling around. So you can sort of like say, that wasn't my fault. If he gets hurt running quarterback power, it's your fault. Stop that. That is not essential to winning and losing. There's other ways you can find 2 yards. Also, last thing, I haven't even talked about throwing yet. All I'm saying with Lance is play to his freaking strengths. Because look, what you've established is you really don't know how to call a game for Lance yet. You're trying to figure that out. You know how to call it for Jimmy. You are great at playing to his strengths and limiting his weaknesses. Unfortunately, you can't do that all the way to a Super Bowl victory. You can do it in the regular season pretty well. You have a lot of experience at it. You're good at it, but it ultimately doesn't lead to a championship. You got to figure it out with Trey. You could have figured it out last year, but you didn't. So now you're trying to figure it out now. You did a good job with your game plan week 1. But what I want to tell you is repeat plays that work, please. You do it in the run game. If you have a play or a concept in the run game that works, you go back to it until it doesn't work. But in the pass game, you might call it twice, maybe once, and then you'll go. It's like you never repeat successful passes. You had one play action deep over to Brandon Ayuk, then you did it again to Ray McLeod, never did it again. Twice. The 2 best plays of the game. You couldn't find a third opportunity to call that play. You have to. Because right now, there's not a whole lot that you're comfortable with calling for Trey Lance because you haven't worked with him very much. So the stuff that works, do that. Don't just all of a sudden be like, you know what, I'm going back to my system, the stuff I normally call. Because that's lazy. And that's going to lead to forced passes over the middle, interceptions, quarters like the fourth quarter. Don't do that. Stick with what works for Lance. Don't give him a bunch of stuff that he hasn't proven he can do well yet. Don't let him lose the game. If you stick with the stuff that he's showing he can do well, he won't lose the game for you. That's all I got to say for you, Kyle. You better win this game. I think you can, but I think you also know it's going to be a low-scoring game and something fluky could happen. It's going to be raining. So you got to be on it. You got to be at your very best, Kyle. And you weren't last week. Your team was in preseason mode. You were in preseason mode. Now you're in must-win mode. And you've won 4 straight week 2s. I have confidence that you're going to win this, but not by much. I mean, I don't even know if George Kittle's going to play. Do you? Kyle, blink twice if George Kittle's going to play. Blink. All right, fair enough. Okay, I'm done with you, Kyle. But I want you to stay. I'm going to talk to John Lynch next, and it's just going to be me and him, but I want you to listen because this is your team too. This applies to you. Trying to coach that coach. Feel me? Hold on, one more. Irfin says Jason LeCamfra said that Jimmy would start week 3 if Trey lost tomorrow. Jason LeCamfra has no idea what he's talking about. Niner by Nature says, have you watched Jesse interview with JT? If so, do you agree with JT regarding Jimmy isn't it and we can win a championship with Trey this year? Yes, I do agree with that. That was a great interview. Nathan Flores says, with Jamal now out for the season, Kyle should take full advantage of him not being there. Yep. All right, back to quality control meeting. Hold on. Make sure my internet's good. John Lynch, I'm talking to you. You need to trade Jimmy Garoppolo right now. You need to trade him as soon as possible. You can't do it soon enough. I know I've flip-flopped on this issue a lot. When this offseason started, I said he can't be on this team. When you renegotiated his contract, i.e. cut his contract, cut his pay, and brought him back as a backup, I said, okay, I'm open-minded. Good to have a good backup. It's a net negative, and you know it. This is a circus. And you created it. This is no way to develop a young quarterback. And you know it. Because, first of all, you saw he lost one game in the rain, and the whole world came down on him and said he's terrible, needs to be benched. Former coaches, media guys. I mean, bench Trey Lance was the number one topic of conversation in the sports world. And I know you're going to say, oh, that's just noise. We don't listen to the noise. That's sure you don't, John. But what's most important is the noise inside your locker room. And you know that's real. You know that as long as Jimmy Garoppolo is on this team, all these players that went to the Super Bowl with him, that love him, that say they love him, that's their brother. Every time Trey misses a throw, every time Trey's voice cracks in the huddle, every time they lose, you got to know that a significant portion of your locker room is going to look at Jimmy like, why isn't he playing? Going to look at Kyle like, what are you doing? Going to look at you like, what are you doing? And so that means your team isn't 100% behind your quarterback. And that means your team is dysfunctional. Frankly, it means you don't have a team. If your team is split, you don't have a team. If your team isn't 100% behind its quarterback, you're not going to win. You lost week 1 to the Bears, who didn't beat themselves. They're behind their quarterback. Now you got to face the Seahawks. They suck, just like the Bears suck. But you know what? They're behind their quarterback. The Seahawks, who suck, are coming into this game confident. You know why? Because your team isn't behind your quarterback. You know what they're saying in Seattle? Most likely they're saying, it's a great time to face the Niners. Oh my God, this is great. They don't believe in their quarterback. They're fragile. All we got to do is get a lead on them early and they'll fold. They don't believe in themselves. They don't know that they can win with Trey. They want to go back to Jimmy. They're looking for an excuse to go back to Jimmy. Let's give them that excuse. You kidding? You're weak right now. You look weak. Teams want to face you. All because you created a ridiculous situation where Trey Lance has to look over his shoulder every day. He has to be perfect. He's not going to be perfect. And even if he is perfect, perfect wouldn't be good enough for a lot of the people on your own team. And if he loses week 2, how is your team going to react if Jimmy's still here? If he loses to the Seahawks, how many people on your team are going to come to you privately in your office and say, John, what are we doing? Why are we not playing Jimmy? I want Jimmy. How many? Is that good? Is that the recipe for a Super Bowl? Is that the best way to make sure Trey Lance becomes the next Josh Allen? You spent 3 first-round picks on Trey Lance. You really want to pull the plug this quickly because you got Jimmy here? Let's back up. Frankly, you should have got rid of Jimmy as soon as you brought in Trey. But you said, no, it's cool. We're going to work it out. You said, it worked for Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, right? It can work. So let's look at that situation. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers had for 3 years. But when the Packers decided it was time for Rodgers, go back. That was 2008. In 2007, the Packers were 13-3 with Brett Favre. They went to the playoffs. They won a playoff game. And then they decided, you know what? Rodgers is ready. Even though we got a Super Bowl roster, Super Bowl team, but Rodgers is ready. We're going to go to Rodgers. So Favre retired that offseason. Then he unretired and said he felt pressured by the Packers to retire, came back to the team, and the Packers were like, we don't want you. We made the decision to go with Rodgers, and now we're all in. We're not going to bring you back, and you can be the backup or compete. No, you're out. So what did they do? They traded one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, who was still good, coming off a great season, for a conditional 4th. Moved on. Gone. And you know what they did in 2008, the Packers? They went 6-10, missed the playoffs. Can you imagine if they had gone 6-10 with Rodgers on the team, with Favre on the team, excuse me. Can you imagine if he was lurking and they're losing? I mean, Rodgers in his 4th career start, week 4, at Tampa, loses by 9, 30-21, goes 14-27. That's 51% completion percentage for 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a quarterback rating of 55. Can you imagine if Brett Favre was still on the team? He would have been starting week 5. Probably wouldn't have given the job back. And the Packers never would have known what they had in Aaron Rodgers. He might have left and been the greatest quarterback somewhere else. So actually, just committing to Rodgers, making a decision and sticking with it was the best thing the Packers have ever done other than hire Vince Lombardi. Smartest decision they ever made other than hire Vince Lombardi. Went 6-10. No one was crying about it. The next year, they were great. And then a couple years later, they won the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. So this is what you got to do. You can't show me a situation where a quarterback was successfully developed where the previous quarterback stuck around and the whole team wanted him to be the previous captain, guy who'd been a starter for 5 years. You can't keep him around. I was open-minded, but it's clearly a net negative. You can't let this happen. You got to trade him. If the Packers traded Brett Favre for a conditional 4th, trade Jimmy for a conditional whatever. Take your day 3 pick and move on. Move on. You know who was the Packers' backup quarterback in 2008? Matt Flynn. He was a rookie. He was 7th round pick. That's, Brock Purdy's good enough. Is he as good as Jimmy? No. Is he a good enough backup quarterback? Yes. If you go 6-11 this year, is it the end of the world? Not if you're good next year. Not if Trey Lance becomes the next Aaron Rodgers. And he's never going to get that opportunity if Jimmy's here and you bench him. So Jimmy's got to go, John. You got to take the loss on this one. The Packers did it with if they can trade a Hall of Fame quarterback for a conditional 4th, you can trade Jimmy for a conditional freaking 5th or 6th or 7th. Who cares? What you got to do is get your team behind Trey Lance, or else he's going to fail. You're setting him up for failure, and you know it. Got it, John? You're not even listening to me, are you? Kyle, would you tell him that I'm right? You know I'm right. Kyle, you know I'm right. John, you disagree. Kyle, you know I'm right. John, you should know better too, man. What successful team that you were on ever had a situation like this? Where a bunch of the vets are being like, can we please play the backup who can't win the playoffs? Who can't win the Super Bowl? Can't happen. Trade Jimmy Garoppolo as soon as possible. You know one other thing too? You know when Trey was at his best this offseason? In OTAs and minicamp. You know what's interesting about that time? That's when Jimmy wasn't there. Ever since you brought him back and he's been lurking, Trey's been inconsistent. Isn't it your job to put Trey in the best position to be successful? Do that. Having a good backup quarterback, putting the entire weight of the world on Trey Lance after 2-3 starts. What you want to do? What's more important? Having a good backup? Trey developing into the next Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers? What's more important? The development of your quarterback or having a good backup? Come on, John. Make the smart decision. All right, finally, I want to talk to Trey Lance. And for this, John, Kyle, you got to go. This is private between me and Trey. You guys got to go. You guys can't be here. You can't hear this. Goodbye. Thank you for your time. Trey, I'm going to let them, that's a little time, because they could be listening outside. You know what I'm saying? Okay, they're gone. Trey. We're going to talk about all this drama, but first we got to talk about you making it rain in the stripper, man. Look, your form was good. I like the way you distributed the dollar bills. I think you look like you've done it before. Form was good. I got no problem with you making it rain. I think it's quite generous. I mean, you made a lot of money. Why not give it back? That's just philanthropy at that point. I think it's quite nice of you. That being said, you got caught. That was dumb. Don't ever get caught again, okay? There's just one rule in life. Don't get caught. You got caught. And you weren't even slick about it, man. Like, you went to a house party where everyone had their phone out. Then later on, and people were like, oh, I don't know if it's you, Trey. Everyone was like trying to give you the shaggy defense. It wasn't me. If I were you, I would have used a shaggy defense too. It wasn't me, because the picture was kind of, then you had another one where you go up to someone and you're like singing his stuff, clearly faded. Just so there's no mystery, it was definitely you. No Eggman. All I'm saying is the days of you going to house parties are over. You don't go to house parties anymore. You're Trey Lance, all right? You're a millionaire. You only go to the finest parties, and there's no phones allowed. Everyone has to put their phone in a bucket at the front and sign a waiver that you weren't there. They never saw you. That's because, frankly, look, man, I'm going to say this. I didn't say this all off season, but I'm going to say it now, all right? It seems like a bad secret that you like to party. And I'm not saying anything wrong with partying, but during the off season, I would get DMs of you, pictures of you. Hey, check it out, man. Trey Lance partying in Mexico. And I was thinking, cool. He's having a good time, man. That's great. But, and I'm not going to put it out. Like, I'm not going to put these pictures out because I'm not trying to create a perception that you're like a party or anything. But someone else will, man. Other people will put it out. And they'll do it after you lose. And they won't say when it happened. And it'll make you look bad. And it'll give the whole world more ammunition against you when they don't need it. They already are doing just fine attacking you. So look, no more house parties with phones. Strippers, that's between you and God and the stripper. That's legal. But no more phones. And here's the thing. So like Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He was your predecessor. First thing he did with the Niners was get spotted on a date with a porn star. Nothing illegal with that either, right? But not the look you really, just not a good look, really, for an NFL. So what has he done since then? Become the most discreet quarterback in the league. What does Jimmy Garoppolo do in the offseason? No one knows. Where is he from February to August? No one knows. Did he stop dating porn stars after that one time? What do you think? I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But if he didn't, he at least has his own private life. You need to figure out how Jimmy does that. Call Jimmy. If there's one thing you can learn from Jimmy, it's how to make it rain on strippers in private. Ask him. He will tell you how to do it. I'm sure he's very experienced. Getting caught was a rookie move. So talk to Jimmy. How do I go incognito? Just saying, easy fix. Jimmy will tell you. All right, okay, and then that's enough of that. Now I'm being serious. I really feel bad for you, man. You are under more pressure and stress and scrutiny than any young quarterback I've ever seen in the NFL, ever. And I don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, and I think everyone has a different reason for coming at you, but it's the whole world right now. And it probably feels like some people on your own team. And you're probably looking like, man, how did I get in this freaking situation? What did I do, God, to be in this situation? I mean, it seems great, right? You drafted your third pick in the draft. Your dreams come true. Good team. But you're in a ridiculous situation, and you didn't create it, Trey. Like, you get drafted by a team, and they keep the quarterback that you're supposed to replace. You didn't make that decision. That wasn't your decision. And then, I mean, you're just trying to be the good guy here. You've done everything right. You've smiled. You've said the right things. You've been professional. You've showed up to all the off-season stuff. And still, this team is like, I don't know, maybe we should go back to the most mediocre quarterback of all time. And if you lose this week, and it's not even your fault, you could go out there, play well, have a quarterback rating of 100, lose, and they'll say, like, well, I don't know, I guess we just win with Jimmy, and you could get benched. I can only imagine how much pressure you're under. And I would recommend that you go see a sports psychologist or a sports therapist, and not whoever the Niners recommend. No one affiliated with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. No one who could go back to the team and tell them what you said. You're a millionaire. You got an agent. You got a whole team. Find the best sports psychologist in the country. Talk to him once a week. My wife is a therapist. I would suggest her, but then, you know, there's a conflict of interest where we live in the same house. She could recommend someone for you. And I think therapy is good for everyone, but I can't imagine someone under more pressure than you right now in the NFL. So I think it would benefit you. You need someone to talk to, and it's not Kyle. It ain't John. It's not Jed. It's not me. It's not Brian Greasy. Isn't that what they brought? They brought Brian Greasy in here to help you with the stress of being the hell out of here, Brian. You need an actual psychologist, someone you can talk to who can help you cope with this crazy amount of stress. I couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with it. I got nervous for this quality control meeting. I'm nervous right now. My palms are sweating. And it's just me and you talking. You have to go play football. That's terrifying. I would talk to someone, man. Someone not affiliated with the 49ers. Because, you know, are the Niners really on your side? Can you trust anyone in this organization? They draft you here and they make you look like you're an ugly stepchild. All of a sudden, they Cinderella'd you. They Harry Potter'd you. You were like, wait a second. Whoa. Why did you pick me? Why am I here? I'm the ugly stepchild all of a sudden? I don't know, man. You got to talk to someone. That's what I would recommend. Anyway, thanks for coming. Good luck this weekend. Don't get caught making it rain ever again. That was so stupid. But also, why'd you invite me? You got my number? What was that? That was just mean. All right, goodbye. Thank you very much. Let me go back through and answer some questions, and then I'll take some calls. CT Law. Got you. Let me speak if anyone before CT Law. Hold on. How can we trade Jimmy if no one wants him? That's the thing. Like, he's healthy. He's affordable. No one wants him? Nah, that's possible. But healthy, affordable, and what does that say about him? No one's going to trade a conditional 7th for Jimmy Garoppolo, healthy Jimmy Garoppolo at a backup price for a year? Really? What does that say about Jimmy then? So the Niners are so some fans really want the Niners to bench Trey Lance to go back to a backup quarterback that no one wants on a backup salary. I think if the Niners would call up teams and be like, look, Dallas, we'll take a conditional 7th for Jimmy. What do you say? Why would they say no to that? I don't know. I think it's time. Let me make sure. Hold on. Grant, thoughts on Trey validating your theory that they pay attention to your channel? I have a feeling that they all watch my channel. You kidding? This is must-watch TV. I think Javon Kinlaw validated it, and Eric Armstead validated it. I mean, Tabor Pepper, they all watch my channel. CT Law says, take a deep breath. You're all charged up. What if Kyle and John are like, crap, we made a mistake. Trey is not developed enough. They see him daily and know more than we do. Rodgers won Super Bowl 17 years. What? What was that last sentence? Rodgers won Super Bowl in 17 years. What are you trying to say, CT Law? that he's not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, that that's not some type of template for the 49ers to follow? What the hell are you talking about? I don't understand what you're insinuating. You really think that Kyle and John look at 3 games and they're like, you know what, we messed up? That's dumb. Is that what the Bills thought after Josh Allen's first 3 games? Compare Josh Allen's numbers after his first 3 starts to Jimmy's. They're exactly the same. Excuse me, to Trey's. They're exactly the same. So, really, like, any team that pulls the plug on their young quarterback after 3 starts is stupid. You calling the Niners stupid? I'm not. I don't think they're stupid. What if the Colts had pulled the plug after Peyton Manning's 3rd start? It wasn't good. I don't think so. If you make the decision, this is the time that Trey's going to start, you got to stick to it. You can't be like, oh, we were wrong. It's next year. Nope. You got to stick to it. Frankly, I think they made the right decision, and he looked good in the first 3 quarters until it started monsooning. Is that a verb? In a messed up time machine, this year should have been last year. I agree. A quarterback that's a year away from a year away. No playoffs equals layoffs. Sure. Official BNA Music 88 says Lance is better philanthropist than Favre. That is so true. That is true. That is true. Do you think some of this Trey slander is racism? I mean, I can't. It's so complicated, right? Because there's been a lot of black quarterbacks before, and I still feel like Trey is getting more criticism than any quarterback ever after 3 starts. So he's not the first. What is so unique about him? What is it? He's not the first black quarterback. It's so complicated, and I do think a big part of it is people dying to criticize Kyle Shanahan, his peers. You know, everyone respects Kyle Shanahan. We don't know how people really feel about Kyle, and a lot of people, media and in the league, are dying to say he was wrong. Don't know why. So I think there's a lot of things going on here. But part of it might be a lot of people don't feel comfortable with, young, unproven black men taking veteran white guy's job when that veteran white guy did everything that was asked of him. I think that's part of it, but it's probably not all of it. And it's probably different person to person. It's very interesting. It's a phenomenon. And it's like Linsanity. It's just it's a 2022 phenomenon. And we'll all be talking about it one day. Like, remember when the whole world had an opinion on Trey Lance after 3 starts? That was wild. Jody Moore says, you are out of control this morning, Grant, but you are in the pocket. With this party persona coming out that we did not know and how he has been playing, has Trey fooled us? Is he who we really thought he was? I think it's okay that he parties. He works hard too. If he wasn't doing the work, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to see, right? Did Joe Montana party in the 80s? I think he did. I wasn't alive. Now, Steve Young, probably not Mormon. But, did Brett Favre party? I don't know. We'll see. But I think the most disappointing thing about it was that he got caught. Dude, that's careless. That's careless, right? That almost looks like Johnny Manziel stuff. Like, just don't get caught. And then it's not an issue. Live your life. Be a grown-up. Football Crab Cake says, would Daboll G's want Jimmy G? How could that work? Sure. I don't know. Someone's got to want Jimmy G, no? If you trade him for nothing, a conditional 7th that could get better if he plays. If no one wants Jimmy Garoppolo at $6 million, fully healthy for a conditional 7th, then what does that say about him? Dylan Young says that San Francisco Niners QC right here, guys. Get this man paid. Yeah, seriously, man. Seriously. Thanks. Poke Ace Jr. said media treating Trey like they did Kwame Brown when he first got to the NBA. Ooh, pretty much. Although Kwame Brown was really bad. Strip Cheese Trey says, Grant, what are your thoughts on the people on the team thoughts of you? It seems like a lot of them don't like you much. Does that bother you at all? No, it doesn't bother me at all. And I don't know how they feel. I'm not in it to be friends with players. Never try to be friends with anyone on the team. And I'm in the locker room every day. And if any player has something they don't like about me, they can come up and say it to me. So far, no one has said anything to me that wasn't, hey, Grant, how you doing? Get a lot of fist bumps. So it seems like a lot of players like me enough to talk to me. And if they don't like me, they're free to say so. I'm there. I show up every day, stand right in the middle of the locker room. That's all I'm saying. All right, it's time for me to make my prediction. So I'm looking at this game, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout for the Niners. I think it's going to be really close, and I don't think they're going to score a lot of points. And I think it's going to come down to about a field goal, and it's going to be a white knuckler the whole way. They could lose this game. It's going to come down to a field goal one way or another. And in the rain, a turnover, a special teams play could flip the whole game. If they're on it, if the Niners are on their P's and Q's, I think they win 17-13. And that's if they do everything I say. They run the ball with their best running back, whoever that might be. They find their best running back, whoever that might be. They repeat the best pass plays. They don't use Trey as a short yardage back. All of that. I think they win 17-13. I think the Niners are a very mentally fragile team right now. They're not a team. They're trying to become a team around Trey, and they're having a tough time rallying around him because Jimmy's still here. And every time there's a little bit of a mistake, I think there's a segment of this team saying, why are we doing this? And if they're saying, why are we doing this? They're not committed to it. They're not going to be good. So I don't even know if George Kittle's going to play in this game or what he'll be able to do. I expect a very close game. I think the Seahawks are looking at this as a game they can win simply because they're not dysfunctional. They've decided on a quarterback. I'm picking the Niners to win this game. They definitely could lose it. And if they lose it, they definitely could bench Trey Lance, which would make this season a failure after 2 weeks. The minute they bench Trey Lance because of his performance, the season's a failure because they're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance is on the team because they know they can't win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance is starting because they have to find out if they can win a Super Bowl with Trey Lance. And they won't know until he's on the team for a couple of years at least. So they need to find that out now. They can't keep putting that off because if it ain't Trey, they got to find someone else who isn't him or Jimmy or Brock. They're wasting time if they go back to Jimmy. It ain't Jimmy. It might be Trey. It might not be Trey. Don't know. Can't know if he doesn't play. Has to play. The sooner he plays, the sooner you know. If you know and it's good, you win a Super Bowl. If you know and it's bad, you get a new quarterback. And no reason to waste time here. 17-13 Niners. They win a game, but the offense doesn't score a lot of points, and there's a lot of hand-wringing. And the conversation afterwards is going to be, well, yeah, Trey won, but the offense wasn't great, and they didn't score a lot of points, and Jimmy would have put up 35. That's going to be the conversation. And people are still going to try to find ways to put Jimmy back on the field for no reason. That's my prediction. God forbid they lose, though. Okay, let's take some calls. Okay, it's in the chat box. And it's in the description. Hold on. Okay. Okay. When you guys are ready, call in and we'll talk sports. All right. Adam, you ready? You ready?
Yeah, what's good, Grant?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy to be back on the show.
Happy to have you.
It's been a minute. But right. I just had a question. Don't you think if we keep Jimmy and we don't win or we don't get to a certain place, will Powell, Shanahan, and John Lynch really even keep their jobs at that point?
I don't think their jobs are on the line yet. I mean, look, they've gone deep in the playoffs twice. They went deep in the playoffs last year. If you want Trey to succeed, you probably don't need to keep giving them new coaches. They did that with Alex Smith, and I think they remember that. That's all I'm saying. I don't think those guys their jobs are on the line. Do you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I just don't know. Like, just wasting 3 first rounds, like the way that people are saying it, yeah. I don't think Trey will ever get the time he needs. Even if this year doesn't end out successful, we could go 6-10. But look how Aaron Rodgers really turned out. Look how Peyton Manning. I mean, they didn't trade up as much as we did, of course. But I just feel that I don't know. Just if we waste that much, and it's like, okay, we bench him this year, then we play him next year. It's just kind of, I don't know, getting rid of what we need.
If you bench him this year, then how do you expect him to be better when you give him the team next year? Like,
yeah,
sitting on the bench didn't necessarily make him ready to be Patrick Mahomes right away. So maybe he's on the Josh Allen end of the spectrum where he needs, or Peyton Manning, where he needs to play to even have a chance to validate the trade up for all those picks. And again, like, we're not going to know if that trade was smart or stupid for another 2 or 3 years. Realistically. And if he's Tim Tebow in 3 years, then yeah, they could all get fired. But I don't think he's Tim Tebow. And again, it'd have to be 3 years from now, 2 years from now.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, and even I think people are being too harsh on him. I really don't think like his performance wasn't, amazing, but at the same time, it wasn't as bad as people are saying it. Feel with the conditions that he had. I don't know if you noticed this, but I feel like they're running a lot of man coverage, and then we just run like curls over the middle, and that's already what he's not good at. And then it's like he'd miss it, so then he'd try to force it, and that's when he threw the pick to Eddie Jackson.
It's cool to criticize Trey Lance. I'm not trying to be on Twitter and YouTube being like, everyone leave him alone. Like, yeah, criticize Trey Lance. He's an NFL quarterback. But what's crazy this week is just how people turned on him after one start in the rain. Like one start in the rain, third career start, and a lot of people are like, oh, this guy's a super bust. He's terrible. I don't like anything about him. Then I just go back to Jimmy like, well, that's an overreaction. He didn't have a great game, but he actually didn't have a bad game until the fourth quarter. And then the fourth quarter, it was ridiculous. So, yeah, I just don't understand that. But criticizing Trey, yeah, absolutely. I do it with his mechanics all the time. Yeah. All right, Adam.
And then Jimmy teaching Trey to definitely get caught his first time. I mean, I can't believe that. I feel like Jimmy teaches him a lot, and I can see what Jimmy does, even in Trey sometimes. But, like, I don't know why he didn't wear, like, some sunglasses or a mask. Like, there's something to cover it up because, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, for me, like, I still love Trey Lance, but at the same time, like, there are going to be so many people who just don't like him because of this one situation. Oh, he's unprofessional. Oh, he's just a kid. Like, it's just adding more stress to him. I just think it's really stupid.
I bet you he won't get caught again. I bet you. Yeah.
That's
all right.
All right.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you so much, Grant. It's great seeing you.
Good seeing you too, man. Karan, were you at the party with Trey?
No, I was not at the party with Trey. I was probably at the daycare across the street.
Okay, all right. Just checking.
No. All right, so a few things. I think what I learned is that Kyle Shanahan, from what I can tell, and it's only one game, but from what I can tell and you can say, no, that's wrong, you've seen it, it doesn't look like he's changed the offense to tailor almost the same exact offense that Jimmy had, and he's expecting the same results with the same throws. That Jimmy was very good at, Trey is not. And I think that's the conundrum. First part.
Real quick.
Second part.
Real quick, I just want to say that I thought Kyle's game plan in Chicago was good, but once he got past the script, it was right back to the old stuff. So I'm with you on that.
That's what he knows. I also think watching Trey play, I don't think he plays fast when he's a runner, if that makes sense. I think he's leaving a lot of like indecisiveness, and I think when he just in the preseason, I think he was the Packers, when he just took it, looked at it, assessed it, ran, he looked good. I've yet to see that translate consistently in a game. I think that's also a problem.
Is it fair to say that he's much better between the tackles and outside the tackles as a runner?
Yes, he can't do what Justin Fields does, right? He can't do that.
He can't turn the corner like Fields and Kaepernick, but on quarterback draws, he's very good. And he actually, there was a play in the last game where he juked a guy in the hole like a running back.
He did. He
got the 13 yards on 3rd and 13 right through the middle. I mean, that's the play I was talking about.
Yeah,
he's not a bad runner. He's not a bad runner.
No, but it's got to be like Josh Allen. The problem is people are comparing him. Josh Allen has like 40 more pounds than this kid does. Josh Allen is much more developed. He's a big guy. He's gonna hurt some people when he collides into them. And so I think that's also different.
I'm always worried about the other person, not Josh.
No, you're not worried about Josh. Josh is gonna get up and laugh.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I also think people are losing sight of one big issue. Is that when the teams transitioned, and maybe they can go back, show me a team that transitioned from a second-year quarterback where 30% of your roster just recently was in the top 100 picks. And if you include, Armstead and Jimmy, you almost got 40% of the roster. Starting roster is on the top 100. I don't think it's that very many. Peyton Manning had a garbage team his rookie year, right? And they went 13-3, but they recouped that, and it was a little bit of both. It wasn't all Peyton. His team sucked his rookie year. I think that's the conundrum, but people aren't articulating it that way. So they have to decide what they want to do. Either they're going to be 9 or 10 wins, make the playoffs, kind of hope they get lucky like they did Packers last year and kind of make it to the NFC Championship, or you're gonna have to bite and be like, we're an 8-8 team, we're a 7-9 team, 7-10 team.
But the conundrum here is that the locker room is like itching to go back to a guy who's not going to win the Super Bowl for them. So it's like, oh, we're a Super Bowl roster. We have to. It's like, okay, but you're not going to win that. You're going to win something, but not that.
No.
So what's the point?
Last thing, and I think this is the psychology of the sport. And I think you've touched upon it, other people have. Your two best offensive players, consistently, I would say the last 5 years for us have maybe give or take a couple have been Deebo Samuel and George Kittle.
Yeah.
Those guys are not tailor-made currently right now to enhance Trey Lance's skill set. They're not. They are tailor-made to enhance Jimmy, and Jimmy is tailor-made to enhance their skill set.
Right.
So you had this optic of people that athletes are funny people, man. They don't like to twinker things when they aren't broken, and they have won a lot of games giving a 2-yard slant to Kittle and Kittle taking it 70 yards, or the other way around with Deebo Samuel. That is changing. Not a Super Bowl, but they got paid and they went very far. They
got paid.
They got accolades.
That is the point right there. They got
accolades. They made all pros. They got paid.
Yep.
Those things. It's not like it was when we were growing up. That championship matters. These players, they got all that stuff, and they got it vastly because of Jimmy's playing and his limitations.
They got their numbers and their money, because I'm with you on that. And all of a sudden, with Trey's, like, Kittle could come out and get 2 catches. All of a sudden, what happened? George, are you washed up? Nah, it's just I don't really fit the new quarterback skill set.
Why does Brandon Ayuk roast Jimmy any chance he can get? Because guess what? Because he's wide open, and Jimmy's like, no, I'm going to throw in front of 3
That's
people.
That's the other thing I wanted to say in my pep talk to Kyle. I forgot to say it. Dude, out routes to Ayuk. You called one. It worked. Go back. Enough. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. That's another thing. Out routes to Ayuk. Come on.
I do believe, Grant, wholeheartedly, that if they lose and he goes sub 50 and throws a pick, the locker room, Kyle, I don't think he hasn't shown it. I don't think he's got the cojones to keep him. He doesn't. He doesn't. Not keep him as a starter. He doesn't.
That's why we try to talk about it. That's why Jimmy should have never been on this team. We talked about it in the offseason. People are like, no, you're overreacting. It's worse than I thought. It's freaking worse than I never thought there'd be a scenario where Trey would get benched after 2 games, but we're looking at it right now. And the first game was in a monsoon. How is that fair? But that's life. It's freaking life.
That's life.
Coming from his own teammates. Coming from his own teammates.
Yep. That's life. That's life.
And the Niners created this.
But hey, you know what? The video coming out and some things that you have said, and I've been a staunch, I've liked winning, Grant. I spent 5-6 years watching them lose in the Tom Sulas, the Chip Kellys. I like sustainability because in Rochester, New York, it's like below 0 in January, and I look forward to the 49ers being in the Super Bowl or the playoffs. So to me, I live for that. I live for above average play because I think that in the NFL is a lot harder to do than any other sport. You shouldn't take it for granted. It's hard to do that. Very hard. And so if you have a winning formula,
not for me.
Write it out.
Nah.
I don't know if they're going to.
There's no winning formula if it doesn't lead to a Super Bowl. That's just the way I feel. I'm sorry. But hey, we're going to disagree on that one. Great call. Love you, man. Always good to see you.
Yep.
Have a good one, Karan. Rico.
I'm angry, Grant. I'm angry.
Let's talk about it, man.
I'm angry. We should have lost to the Bears, man. I'm sick of Kyle. He's always doing stuff like this. You're supposed to be a genius, but we lose games like this. He's never had a top offense. Why is that, Grant? Why?
What do you think? What are you thinking?
I'm just sick of it, man. Like 2019, we had a good running back room. This running back room is
not the same. Without Elijah Mitchell, what is it? Hard to say.
Not Jordan Mason. Jeff Wilson Jr., I never liked him, to be honest with you. I never really liked him, And then George Kittle's over here always getting hurt, but he's the first person sitting out in minicamp or training camp. Like he's done, like won a Super Bowl, won a ring, like Travis Kelce.
Right.
Like, who are you?
Yeah. So you're getting bad vibes. It seems like the team is in a tough spot right now, right? Like they haven't decided on a quarterback. Kittle's hurt. Ward's hurt. I mean, this is when you want to face the Niners right now. They're weak.
Exactly. And they it seemed like every time you put some faith into them, they always let you down. Super Bowl.
Yeah. Anytime you give Kyle the benefit of the doubt, he lets you down. But when you bet against him, all of a sudden he's good again. That's the conundrum.
Everybody said we're gonna blow out the Bears this week, 30-9, 30-10. What happens? We lose.
I didn't say that. I said they were going to win 16-10, and they lost 19-10. So I was close, but damn, I couldn't believe they should have won 16-10. They didn't.
And if we lose against Seattle, it's going to be a big problem.
If they lose to Geno, it really doesn't matter what Trey Lance does. If they lose to Geno, he's getting benched. That's too bad.
Exactly. And Kyle he has to do better as a play. And D'Amico, too, like, we're supposed to be playing press man most of the time. Look like we're in his zone a lot.
Yep.
We should. Why? We got good corners.
Like, your corners are better than their wide receivers. Why are you playing zone?
Exactly. Get up on the line and press them. You know what I mean?
Dante Pettis, that 51-yard touchdown, that was cover 3. That turned into a scramble drill, and people didn't mark up. People as in Talanoa.
When you play zone, you can sit in the zone for a while and wait for the coverage to break off. Like, you should be playing man-to-man. And then Armstead, like you said, he can't contain. He has issues containing. You said that last year.
I've been trying to, bring this to his attention for years, and all he does is try to get me fired. I'm like, nah, Armstead, I'm trying to help you and the 49ers. He doesn't want to hear it.
That play happened because of him. He missed the
That's why he's always on my case, because I made that one video showing how he doesn't keep contained on the edge to try to shame him to play better. And he just tries to get me fired, man. All right, fine.
I mean, hey, you see what happened. We got a touchdown because of it, and it seems like we're really missing Jimmy Ward right now.
That changed the whole game. Him giving up contain changed the whole freaking game. It did.
And then Hufunga's going to come across the field and try to make a play.
From 80 yards away, he's like, I got this. He's not getting – I mean, Justin Fields hadn't even crossed the line of scrimmage. He was clearly going to throw, and Hufunga's like, no way are you scrambling for this.
I just find
you don't get a first down. Take a touchdown instead. That'll show him. What are you doing?
Man.
Discipline. Where is it on this team?
He was playing great. But I just don't know no more, Grant. Like, we always underwhelming. We should be winning most of the time.
Here's why they're bad. Because I pick them to win the Super Bowl. Whenever I am on the Niners' ass and I criticize them, I pick them to lose, they show me up. So let's say they're going to lose to the Seahawks this week. They're losing. They're going to lose to the Seahawks. I said it. I'm betting against all of y'all. I believe in you anymore.
Man, I picked the Seahawks against the spread.
There you go. There you go. All right, man.
All right, great.
Good call, Rico. Later. Abraham says, if they go back to Jimmy, anything less than a Super Bowl win is a failed season and puts Trey back and wastes another year of his rookie contract. Yep, agree. They go back to Jimmy, they better win the freaking Super Bowl. Brad says Jimmy will win another Super Bowl ring as a backup. Cool. Merkin says, if they bench Trey, I don't see myself going to or really watching any Niner games this year. Let the kid develop or it's another wasted year. You hear that, Jed? You hear that, Kyle? You hear that, John? Bryant, you ready? Bryant, where you at? Where you at, Bryant? All right, there you are. What's up, dude?
Hey, dude, how you been?
Good, man. How you doing?
Well, let me sit down. I was making a hat.
Oh, nice.
So the Niners since 2002 have only swept the Seahawks 3 times.
That is a nice hat, by the way.
Thank you.
Can I buy one of those? Damn, that's a nice hat.
You know how to get a hold of me.
All right, keep going.
So, yeah, most definitely. The Niners' overall record towards the Seahawks is 30-17. This is a must-win game. You know, like for the longest time, the Niners have been competing with the Rams because that's the longest rivalry we really have. They moved to St. Louis, and then Jeff Garcia and Kurt Warner had the battle and stuff. The Rams won their Super Bowl. They lost their Super Bowl. They've moved back. They've lost a Super Bowl in LA. They've won a Super Bowl in LA. But the whole time since 2002, since the Seahawks have come into our division, they have dominated the Niners. Matt Hasselbeck, Mike Holmgren. Holmgren was like the coach for like 10 years. They really took it to us. We drafted players to compete against the Rams when it was really the Seahawks we should have been competing against. The Seahawks went to the Super Bowl and lost it against the Steelers. There's a lot of things like the Seahawks always seem to take our players when we cut them. There's a lot of just like little things that just add up. Every time we play the Seahawks, the Seahawks could be the worst team in the league, but they play the best game against us.
They play hard. They're well coached.
Well coached.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, he didn't do good in New England, but when he went to USC and then he came back, he had something about him. But this weekend is very important for the Niners. And this is my question. I don't want to be on the phone too long because I know everybody's calling, but if it wasn't Trey Lance and it wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo, how many games do you give a rookie quarterback on a Super Bowl supposed to be contending roster before you make a switch. And I'm not saying switch Trey, but he's got to win. We can't be going like 0-3. We can't be going 0-4. We got to start winning here. If we're going to have a chance at this year, we have to have confidence in the locker room, and we have to start getting wins. And that's how everybody feels better after you win.
That's true. But to me, like, if you go back to Jimmy, that's just basically like
But no,
deodorant
not with Jimmy or Trey.
Right.
Take those
No, I'm
two
not
guys
arguing with you.
out.
I'm just saying, like, if
Right.
if they bench Trey after 4 games and go back to Jimmy, it's like, okay, we stink, so let's put on hella deodorant. Like, nah, that's not really fixing anything. Like, you're not all of a sudden, smelling good and ready to go out. Like, no, you still stink. You just have like some BO like mixed with Old Spice together. And it's worse.
You're my age, and I know your dad's covered the team, and you got a lot of information too. But didn't they bench Steve Young? Didn't they bench Joe Montana? They went back to him. Didn't Jeff Garcia get benched? Alex Smith got benched.
Yeah.
Right? Kaepernick got benched for Blaine Gabbert.
I hear you, man.
So I'm not saying bench him and go back to him, but I'm just saying, like, this is a must-win game. That if Kyle doesn't win, it's all about banana hands again, because he's got to control this game.
Get those hats ready, baby.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Brian.
And everybody get excited, because we're gonna win this game. Go Faithful.
Right,
thanks.
Take care. Thank you, Rod Simmons.
What's going on, Grant?
What's up? How you doing, Rod?
Pretty good. Now I follow directions. I came with 3 topics, and I'm gonna make them quick. Nice. First thing is for you. I got a challenge for you, because I see a lot of things that you see, and I agree with a lot.
Okay.
Do me a favor, man, and I want you to go back and study the delivery of Jimmy Garoppolo when he had Emmanuel Sanders at wide receiver. The guy never looked the same after Emmanuel Sanders left, and I think that's probably one of the things that the 49ers could have did differently going into that offseason. It's like the guy never looked comfortable. When he went through his progression, it was always the wrong read. I don't know, but go ahead.
What I never understood is he had this instant connection with Emmanuel Sanders, trusted him, got him the ball a lot. Sanders leaves, Ayuk comes in. They don't have that. He never trusts Ayuk like that. Why? Is Sanders that much better than Ayuk? Like, I don't understand that.
I have no idea. That's why I brought it to the man.
Yeah.
Maybe you get with your guys, look at the film, because if there's a possibility that Jimmy does have to come back in, which I'm hoping not, at least get a guy, give him some room to be successful. I know the dude just retired, but I mean, sometimes maybe you have to go back and retrace your old tracks to make things happen better the second time. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay. Second thing, the Justin Fields comparisons, why people were like, I knew we should have took Justin Fields. I just want to give my reasons why I don't think we went after Justin. If you remember when Justin was in the college league, he started off in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, more pro style offense.
Mm-hmm.
Transfer from Georgia, goes to a school that has a reputation for not building quarterbacks up in Ohio State. And I think the thing is with Justin, we all know the guy can throw the ball deep, but it takes more than just how many guys came to the league and they were projected to be superstars just because they can throw deep passes.
Mm-hmm.
I think his problem is unlike the game against us, this coach is developing Justin. He's now actually taking snaps under the center.
Mm-hmm.
In Ohio State, I think the style of play that they ran, the zone scheme, it was a one read. That one read wasn't open, he taken off.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Justin, he had a high ceiling, but I think more than anything, just like Lance, he's a project. You're not going to just get him in immediately and have that type of success, because he didn't have that type of success in the SEC. That's why he went to Ohio State.
Right. That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
And the last thing.
Also, everyone's really excited about Justin Fields right now. He threw for 121 yards week 1, and 51 yards was on one busted coverage play. Like, whoa. And everyone's mad at Trey. Like, whoa, what is going on? Okay, go on.
Okay. And the last thing, like, Mike Martz made the comment he never liked this guy. I think that Trey never even
Which is weird, because a couple of weeks ago, he was on the radio saying he did like him, which is weird. Like, well, you have one game in the rain, and now you hate him. That's so weird.
And when did he become an expert? I've heard a lot of you guys talk about he won Super Bowl. No, he was an assistant. Dick Vermeer was the head coach when they won the Super Bowl.
True. True.
Okay.
True. He lost the Super Bowl, right?
Thank you. Yes.
He lost the Super Bowl to Brady and Belichick. Hey, good call, man. Now he does say that doesn't he say that the Patriots cheated? That they filmed the walkthrough and yada yada yada. He has excuses. He has his excuses.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And the last point I make,
Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, and lost. Torrey Holt lost. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
Last point. As far as how he was scouted, why is it that Carson Wentz got a better scouting report than this guy? They played at the same school.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but Trey Lance threw 42 touchdowns, 0 picks. Now, if that would have been Carson, the only thing that he would have been saying is he protects the football. I never hear people talk about the fact that Trey Lance protects the football.
Right.
So, I mean, I think
you know the answer to that question. But I think one thing that made it complicated is the pandemic. The pandemic just wiping out 2020 was rough. And it made Trey Lance a very, very unique scouting experience. I mean, the fewest throws ever. You know what I mean?
And I get that. But the only point that I'm trying to make is, do you remember how everybody was big on Carson Wentz? Who came from the division?
It's cool. And I think he only played like a season and a half. Hold on, let me real quick. How many throws did Carson Wentz have in college? Let me look. Hold on. 612. That's it. 612. So he didn't play a whole lot in college. Carson Wentz either.
Yeah.
612 throws. That's it. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I know what. But again, black quarterbacks are always approached with extreme skepticism. So you have that on top of the fact that people want to prove Kyle wrong and that people love Jimmy. And it's like this avalanche of reasons to be like, Trey Lance is not allowed to play quarterback in the NFL after 3 starts. Like, whoa, what are you talking about? He's the 3rd pick in the draft. He's shown really good things. Let's pump the brakes here like we do for every other freaking – how many chances does Sam Darnold get?
Right.
And he's trash.
And all I know is this, Brant. When it comes to those type of quarterbacks, you look at the era of when Cam Newton got drafted. Cam went to the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson got drafted. That type of quarterback. He went to 2 Super Bowls, won 1. RG3 got Rookie of the Year. The guy that they projected to be great, Andrew Luck, didn't even get to finish his career. Right. Colin Kaepernick got drafted. He went to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So these quarterbacks are showing you that they have the ability to get to the Super Bowl. The problem is these coaches don't believe in letting these guys finish what they start.
I'm with you. I like it. Rod, thank you very much.
Have a good one, bro.
Rob is on fire. Always on fire. Salvador says, I saw Trey looking down at his play sheet on his wrist week when I thought he was ahead of Jimmy G in this category. I mean, you got me there, baby. Niner says, Kyle is all drama. Ayuk in the doghouse for screaming, I'm wide open, sickening. Trey Lance going to be in the Hall of Fame for sure. Kyle is all drama, right? Get the ball to Brandon Ayuk. Flav says, I swear I'm the only one who has faith in Trey anymore. Niners for sure covered 23-9. The Seahawks team is bad. Won't be able to do anything all game. Sure. Sounds good. I just don't feel like Kyle has a great feel for how to use Trey or Danny Gray or Jordan Mason or any of his players for this team. He's a little behind when it comes to that. Josh Wyatt looks really cold. Where are you, dude? And why are you always in a mail truck?
I'm not. I'm in my work truck. It's because it's because I make a lot of noise on the phone with you, and my wife is in the house, and we got all kinds of stuff going on.
All right, fair enough. So what's on your mind today, man?
Did I say I didn't like it? I said I didn't like that move to bring back Jimmy Garoppolo.
You were right. You were right. I was wrong. You were right. I can see it. It's worse than I thought, man. It's worse.
It's terrible. It's all downside and no upside.
It's all downside. We have a good backup. Okay, at what cost? You don't have a team.
But also, by the time they have to make that move, right? Jimmy's not bringing them back from 2-6, right? But if you don't give Lance 8 games to show something, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
Thank you. Yeah. And right? You'll never know. You'll never know if you made the right move. Yeah.
The problem is Kyle
and how do you make Trey the starter next year if you pull the plug on him this year? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's really rough.
It's over. The whole thing is over after 4 starts. What a project. Well done. That's like writing the book on how not to develop a quarterback.
Yeah. You know what the problem is? Kyle is Theseus. You're familiar with Theseus, right?
No.
The ship of Theseus was a thought experiment that was brought up by Plutarch. Theseus is a Greek king, and his ship, he prized it so heavily that he would rebuild it each year. Every year he'd take apart all the pieces and he'd put them all back together with new planks of wood, right? Any bad plank, he would replace it with a good plank. And the thought experiment is, at what point does it become a different ship? Right? And Theseus is going, oh, I got the same ship, but he doesn't have the same ship. He's got a new ship. And you can't treat this year's 49ers like it's last year's 49ers, like it's the year before's 49ers. Every time you take that ship apart and put it together with new pieces, it's a new team. And Kyle always starts the season thinking he has the same damn ship and he's going to sail it the same damn way, and it doesn't ever work.
And it takes him until November to figure out, oh, this is how I'm driving this ship this year. It's like, yeah, man, it's week 10. Yes, Debo's a running back. Yeah, you figured it out. Nice. Like, come on, man. Yes, I'm with you.
And the other thing is, I'm sick and tired of people calling this a Super Bowl roster. Can we stop doing that? What Super Bowl roster have you ever heard of that had 3 new starters, first-time starters on the offensive line? That's not a Super Bowl roster.
Super Bowl roster doesn't have a top 15 quarterback? What are you talking about? There's no Super Bowl roster here.
Okay.
Maybe if a bunch of question marks turn out to be really good players, maybe. And we think Trey could. But what are you talking about?
The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say something nice about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't want you to freak out. Okay. The problem here is that Jimmy's not gone, so we can't get a good assessment of what Jimmy was without both sides going crazy, right? You've got people on one side saying, no, Jimmy was an A, maybe an A- quarterback. He was bringing you to the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. And you got people on the other side.
Chicago.
You got people on the other side going, no, Jimmy was an F. He was the worst quarterback ever, and the 49ers only won because they carried him. They would have won They would have won 4 Super Bowls if Jimmy wasn't there. You can't get a middle ground because of the Trey element, right? Because everything is seen through the lens of whether you support Trey or not. I would say Jimmy Garoppolo started off in 2017 as a B quarterback and regressed to a C, maybe a C+ quarterback on good days, right? And saying that pisses both sides off, right? But
now he has moments in the playoffs where he can be even worse than that. But that's still he's deep. He's deep in the season at that point, right? Yeah.
But the idea is that the philosophy is, okay, we have basically the same team as before. We don't. But they're saying, oh, we have the same team as before, and Jimmy's an F, so all Trey has to do is be a D or a C. Yeah. Right. And we're going to win the Super Bowl. And then when Trey loses, oh, well, Trey must be an FF.
Right.
So,
when that's actually totally not
complete. Yeah, but it's completely toxic. And you can't get a real assessment of what Jimmy Garoppolo was while he's still on the roster. And it was a perfect example you made of Rodgers and Favre, right? Because you can make a real, clear-headed understanding of what Favre was, romanticize him, love him, appreciate what he did for the team. We should be we should be able to do with Jimmy right now.
Just like we can do for Alex Smith. Alex Smith leaves the Niners, and you're like, you know what? He was a pretty good quarterback for this team. No hard feelings, good time, not good enough, but he actually had to, you can find that middle ground for Alex Smith. For Jimmy, it's like, why are you still here? Go away. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I just said with Trey, dude, this situation is not your fault. It's not Jimmy's fault either. To his credit.
That was the philosophy that they took into the offseason was we're gonna have that 6-10 Rodgers year where Trey's gonna struggle in his first year, right? They thought, okay, we're gonna have that year, so we're not gonna put a bunch of money into the things, right? And we're gonna use holding on to Jimmy Garoppolo as an excuse. But when it came right down to it, they didn't have the nutsack. They didn't have the nutsack to straight up cut him, right?
No, they didn't.
And that move to sign him to a $6 million whatever to be a backup, that was about saving face. They couldn't cut him. So you saw the narrative shift the week after that happened. Everybody's going, brilliant move, great job by the 49ers.
I even said it.
Yeah, they played you, Grant. They played everybody.
I fell for it. I fell for it. But now it's week 2, and I'm like, nah. That's terrible. I take it back. I see it for what it is. The Niners should see it for what it is too. Josh, I got to take more calls, but you're on fire, man. You got a really good pulse this year of the team. I appreciate your
Have a good one, man.
All right, man. Later. Niners Run This says the most hated, the most talked about. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the best team in the universe. Niners, let's go. They are the most talked about. It's pretty cool, right? Gold Dirty Bastards says that play calling looked eerily similar to Arizona. Yeah, man, the quarterback power, the Trey leading the team in rushing. Like, what are you doing? Josh White is your hype man, Grant. Josh White's good. He does a good job. Always has something to say. Always got something to say. All right. Jose Ledesma. Been a minute. How you doing?
I'm doing good. About yourself, Grant?
I'm doing good. Good to see you.
Good, you too, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. You're a dad now. Your voice is like 2 octaves lower. It's crazy, man.
Well, that's because I was doing a whole lot of yelling yesterday. I coach, so
okay.
I was doing a whole lot of yelling at the game last night. We lost in overtime, unfortunately. But yeah.
Sorry.
No worries. So basically, I want to just talk about this whole 2022 49ers situation because it's a bit messy as we already just started the season. First of all, I want to appreciate the commentary team from that game in Chicago because they actually had the pulse on the 49ers on what the team is in week 1, or at least right now. That no one was talking about how bad Trey Lance was. They were like, literally, why is this team so undisciplined? Yeah. They're like, Kyle Shanahan needs to get this team right and needs to fix the real problems that are on this team, which is the offensive line, especially when it comes to pass pro outside of Trent Williams, and the penalties, and the fact that you literally allowed the Chicago Bears to stay in the game with Drake Greenlaw having 3 personal foul penalties on himself. Yeah. You know, so
we got to keep this interesting, man. We're killing you. We got to keep you in the game. Come on. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah. So it's I think the problems with this team is much more about team building that Kyle and John have done. And it's much more about Kyle really not having a control of this team, which is supposed to be his team. You know, no one really challenges him as like the assistant head coach or anything like that. It's Kyle's team. So Kyle has the same problems that he's had since he became the head coach, where the team is always undisciplined. We always have bad penalties at the wrong time. It's always a false start in the 4th quarter, down by 3, and we got to drive down 80 yards.
And it's not a young guy. It's not a rook. It's always, I mean, it could be anyone.
It's veterans. It could be anyone. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then it doesn't help.
Kyle, anytime he wants to make a decision, he has to bring like 15 vets in and make sure they're okay with it. Like, dude, you're the coach, make a decision. But I feel like he's created this locker room where a bunch of people feel like it's some type of a democracy and they get a vote, you know? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hey, Kyle, I think Jimmy should be the starter. Like, go play tight end or whatever, whoever it is. Go play right tackle or whoever it is.
And here's the thing. Me personally, I don't think there's a huge problem with giving guys opinions appreciated and all that, because there's great head coaches that do that, like Pete Carroll when they were winning and had their veterans, and you know Andy Reid does that with the Chiefs. Like, there's not a huge problem when you do that, but at the end of the day, there should be a point to where players understand you're the head coach and what you say goes, and you got to drop the hammer. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be that distinction between your players and the coaches.
Right.
And anything
and they
you
respect
do.
You like that if you make a decision, they're like, all right, well, Kyle said it. That's it. Kyle's right. That's my coach. But I feel like a lot of these people on this team are like, I don't know, man. Jimmy's our guy. We don't. They're like, Kyle doesn't win without Jimmy. Again, Kyle, dude, what kind of a hold do you have on this team, really? Because the penalties make me wonder, what kind of head coach are you really?
And then not even just the penalties. I feel it's the same thing that we've been talking about for years. Kyle's play calling, man, is what really kills us as an offense, as a team, and why we really, in my opinion, lost this game. Once Elijah Mitchell got hurt, Kyle didn't know what to do with the offense. He kind of just threw some plays together, and it really wasn't sticking. It wasn't working. And it just kind of seemed like he couldn't really find something that worked, even though we had Ayuk on a couple of deep balls. Yes, Trey missed Croft on that, a potential touchdown pass in the end zone. But besides that, I feel like he had an okay game. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. No, I'm talking about Trey.
Oh, Trey. My thing with Kyle is that, like, in week 1, a lot of times we say, like, hey, great coordinator, not a great head coach. He wasn't good at either. His team wasn't prepared. His team wasn't prepared. It beat itself. And his play calling, once he got past the script, was bad. Freaking bad. So, like, Kyle, man, it's time for you to step up. Week 2, let's go. You got to do your best.
Right, 100%. And I think, and you know, maybe people might not agree with me on this, but watching Jeff Wilson Jr., he just is not the same running back anymore that he used to be.
No.
I think we should really switch up and go to that young kid Jordan Mason, or even the other young kid Price as the other running back. Now that we don't have, there's a whole.
Mack. I like Marlon Mack too. Give him a chance.
Well, that's the thing. Kyle never hasn't went to a committee since Raheem Mostert became the running back. Ever since Raheem Mostert became the starter in 2019, he never went to a committee again. He always gave it to the workhorse guy. So it was Mostert. Now it's Elijah Mitchell. Like, you got to get these other guys involved, or else what was the point of having 5 running backs on your roster if you're not going to get all these guys involved? Because after Elijah Mitchell got hurt, Kyle didn't know what to do with the offense. He just didn't. And it doesn't help when your offensive line is struggling when it comes to pass pro, especially Mike McGlinchey, the same right tackle I've been saying is the most terrible pass blocking right tackle in the NFL. It's not even close. And then you just got 11 penalties for 99 yards, which is totally undisciplined. And you got to be better as the head coach, and you got to be better as a team. And people need to stop pointing the finger at Trey Lance. Like, Trey Lance was the one that had 11 penalties.
Yep. Kyle, I'm pointing at you right now. So is Jose. Jose, good stuff, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care, Grant.
Take care. All right. CJ Gray.
What's going on, Grant?
Oh, man, you seem down. It's just weird.
Oh, man. I went to Chicago live. That's first off. And so I got rained on and my team lost. And so that's just bad. And now throughout the week, people are dunking all over my quarterback and stuff like that. And that's not real cool. We kept Jimmy. And the last time we spoke, I was like laying down the gauntlet. Get rid of Jimmy. Get rid of Jimmy. Get rid of Jimmy. Jimmy's still here.
Because he saw this coming. You can see this coming. Yeah.
I seen this coming. I was just like, I don't want this. And now Trey's got this stripper video out here, which part of Trey's persona was the wholesome young kid.
Squeak clean. Yep.
Parent mama's boy. Like,
if this came out before the draft, the Niners would have taken him?
Probably not.
Because remember, Mac Jones had the 100 mil thing. You know what I'm saying?
And so it disturbs his image a little bit. And he just had this image of he just grinds real hard. He just works hard. He studies and all this stuff. And then this video comes out. And it might all that stuff
he's just another line. He's just another 49ers pretty boy who wants to be a part. I mean, honestly, how many quarterbacks in a row of the Niners drafted who are like, you know what? I'm famous and rich and women love me. This is great. I'm not saying he's like that, but it's like, you know what? I kind of like my life. Football's a little, I don't know. You know, like I wonder.
It just creates the perception about him that it might not be true. But he goes out there and he doesn't play well. This is more ammunition for his detractors, the national media, and stuff to come after him.
They didn't care that this happened in the offseason. People were like, oh, he loses and then he's partying and making it rain. It's like, actually, you didn't do your research at all, but no one cares. Nobody
cares. And so he has to go out there. He has to go out there Sunday and ball. He has to stop this conversation right now. Just because Kyle Shanahan has a track record with being successful with quarterbacks. And so I have to lean towards his high level skill set, the perception of work ethic. I don't know after the stripper video.
Hold on real quick. So people are saying he has to go out and ball. He has to go out and win. Just a second. So everyone's comparing him to Josh Allen. In Josh Allen's fourth start, now he won, okay? He won 13-12. He was 10 of 19. For 82 yards and a pick. That's what Josh Allen did in his fourth start. So I'm trying to tell people, like, it could be really bad on Sunday.
I know it could be. I believe it.
Really bad though, like and you can't overreact. Yeah,
but it's just that it's the conversation around this is real bad. And like you were stating, when in history has somebody taken somebody high in the draft like this, given up this much capital, and then kept the incumbent on the team?
Never. Ever.
When does it happen? I can't find it.
You know why it's never happened? You know why it's never happened? Because it's stupid.
It is. And that's why I said that Jimmy was going to be gone, because to keep him around was stupid.
That's why my dad bet me a bottle of wine. He's like, it's insane. They're not going to be insane. I was like, Dad, I think there are some, insane elements running through that organization. Strains of insanity. I'm sorry, is playing out.
And then
they really think they can control the narrative nationwide. Like, what? Are you kidding? It doesn't work that way. You might be able to control the narrative with certain outlets locally, but not nationwide, not in your own locker room. Not with me.
Nobody.
You might have KMBR, NBC Sports, a couple, but not the whole country.
Because this week has been long. It's been a real long week.
It's been crazy.
So he has to go out there.
Can you imagine what next week would be like if they lose? I almost kind of want to see what happens again. I'm curious to see what life is like.
We're going to have the torches and pitchforks at the stadium if he goes out there and bombs it. I mean, they're at home, too, to the rival Seahawks. The Seahawks are looked at as taking a step back.
Think they lose? Think Jed tweets something if they lose?
He might.
Unacceptable performance.
He might.
I love how intense football gets right away. Like a few weeks ago, it's, joint practices and everyone's great. They lose week one. Everyone's like, oh my God, we have to win. I love that about football. When you cover baseball, they lose a game in freaking April. Everyone's like, who cares? Who cares? It's April. We'll just come back, play baseball tomorrow. Anyway, CJ, good call. Good to see you. Are you still there? Well, it was a good call. I thought it was terrific. Edgardo says, do you think Kyle's dad helps write the opening script? Yes, that's why it's good. But when Kyle's when it's on Kyle to perform, he folds. I do. Are you? I mean, I would think. I mean, if I were Kyle, I would run it by my dad. Why would you not? That's a great resource. So yeah, I think Kyle probably has a lot of people he can use as resources for the game plan. What's up, Chris?
What's going on?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I mean, I was not surprised that they lost. I was not surprised. Last year when we played them, we had a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo. Not saying that he was the reason why they won, but then it took, they were with us neck and neck all the way through. And then it took a Debo 95-yard to go ahead and get the touchdown.
Right.
And then it was
that Elijah Mitchell thing where he got hit at the 4 and carried a pile 4 yards into a lot of really superhuman efforts in that game just to squeak out a win over the Bears.
Yeah. And but my thing is just real quick, this is my thing. Our front office is really looking like our team, meaning that we can do things right up to a certain point. Because Jimmy Garoppolo would do everything right, but then at the biggest of moments when you really got to come up big, we don't.
Right.
Jimmy should have been gone.
Yeah. First thing. Honestly, he should have been gone last year. You trade for Trey Lance, Jimmy, you're gone. You're gone. And if we need a bridge quarterback, it's someone else. It's not Jimmy.
See, this is the thing. John Lynch has got to know better. He was a former player. Yeah. How on God's name do you turn it around and say, you know what? Yeah, this is a great situation. He should know better as a GM and as a player.
John, you've been in locker rooms. You know how it works. Come on, John. You should know.
Yeah. And the only reason why nobody traded for Jimmy is because they knew the 49ers had to cut him. But they, like I said before, they aren't doing football business. They're just doing business. And that's not how it works. And you could have gotten offensive linemen. You couldn't gotten so much more with that cap space, but you decided to hold on because you weren't going to trade them. You were just holding on to your bag of something that nobody else wants. The only person in the media that is rocking really the truth right now that I have felt is one Joy Taylor. She crushed it. She was like, this is what you get with a rookie quarterback. This is what happens. He's going to make mistakes. Yeah. And the whole media has turned on him. When all these kids got drafted, everybody, especially Colin, I'm upset with him. He said maybe it has something to do with the daughter, don't know. But what he said, this is what he said. He's like, Trey Lance is in the best situation. They've got all this talent. He's in the best situation. And now they're turning around saying, oh, well, now he has to do this. Now he has to do this. He can't be pick a side.
Right.
Pick a side.
Right. So when they say he's in the best situation, that's code for he's not allowed to make mistakes. He's not allowed to be a young quarterback. If he's not Patrick Mahomes right away, he has to stop playing. And to me, it's like people that want him to fail. Everyone knows that he's a project. Everyone knows if he works out, he's going to take the Josh Allen trajectory, but no one wants to give him a chance. He can't play. He has to keep sitting. He has to learn in practice. That's not how Josh Allen got better. If you do that to Trey and never let him play, then he's probably never going to realize his potential, and it'll be a freaking shame.
And that's the problem that I have. Why is Josh Allen getting all this leeway? You know, he's going to grow with the team. He's going to do this. But then Trey Lance is to get the benefit of the doubt. Like, he can't learn with the team. Like, he can't grow. Like, he can't do these other things. I mean, it's like, you know, when they talk about the game, they don't mention that we were up 10-0. Debo goes down and fumbles the ball. They don't mention that all the points that they score are off of the defensive side of the ball. It's like nothing that this kid does is right. And it's sad. And the problem is, this is all on John Lynch.
They created this because usually when a quarterback is young and he plays, people focus on the positives. Hey, he did this. Look at that. Third start, encouraging. And that's how I gave him a B. I was like, wow. I mean, those 3 throws were big time throws. It was a tough environment. I was encouraged. That's usually how you grade young quarterbacks. Everyone else is like, he made one mistake. What a bum. What a freaking bum. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
But
he has to be a finished product right away. And he started freaking 4 games since 2019? He's supposed to be a finished product right away? Come on.
Yeah, and the thing that kills me is that their defensive philosophy is pass rush over everything. We all know that. So wouldn't it behoove you to protect your quarterback by getting offensive linemen if that is your defensive philosophy? Like, come on.
Oh, good pass rush really negates everything. Right. That's why you need to protect your quarterback. Chris, there's a lot of people that want to call in, but you're great as always, man. Thanks for waiting around. I appreciate you.
All right, man. You have a good one.
All right, Chris. See ya. Victory Jones says, don't you find it funny that the same media that wanted Jimmy gone is the same media that wants Trey canned for Jimmy? Is that right? I haven't really noticed that. Is that true? Is that a fact? Fly Guy Ash, man, what's up?
Yo, what's going on, Grant?
Chilling, man. What's up with you?
Yeah, what's going on? So I got a few things I want to talk about, but the first thing I want to talk about is a little bit with Jimmy. Not even a little bit. Chris, you and Chris are just touching up on a few of the things, but the Niners then turned this whole thing into a nationwide fucking crisis. Yep. Jimmy should have been going out of here from day one. They got Trey Lance in here. This kid is amazing, but now all eyes are on him, and all the negatives that he does are outweighing his positives, and I'm not liking it. Jimmy is QB number 2. I don't know. I really feel like Jimmy should have been out of here. I can't do the shaky feet. Every time Jimmy get in the fucking pocket, he has shaky feet. Man, it's just so much to talk about. His shoulder surgery, there's no trade market for him. The Cowboys just lost Dak. He can't go there. Like, I don't even know where to start.
Yep.
I don't even know where to start.
I know. But it all started with keeping Jimmy and saying that that's going to be okay. Our team can handle it. It'll be great. Nah, man, because you need people to rally behind Trey for him to have any chance. It's a football team. Right now, they're not a team. They have to become a team before they can start winning. And that's why I'm not so confident they're going to beat Seattle, because Seattle has rallied behind Geno for whatever reason. That's their guy. And that's going to be their guy this year. The Niners, they have like an identity crisis. They're having an identity crisis right now. Anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with you on that. My next point I want to talk to you about was just the game. Going into the game 1 and everything, I wasn't expecting the conditions to be how they were. I mean, I'm not from Chicago. I don't really know about the weather and shit like that, but the weather out there was crazy. Like, I've played football before, and I understand what it's like playing in the rain, but that shit was crazy. I mean, they gotta give the kids some credit. Like, I mean, what do you expect from them to go out there and do? And I mean,
he was 8 for 14 with a drop in the first 3 quarters. That's good.
Play fucking amazing. Yeah. So it really wasn't even on Trey. It wasn't on Trey. It was about all them goddamn penalties and shit. Yeah. And that's also on Kyle too. When it comes to discipline and like the whole locker room was not fucking disciplined. Like the whole Jimmy shit, I feel like the whole Jimmy shit got the whole team head fucked up. Like we shouldn't be having these crazy. We had like 10 penalties for almost what, like 100 yards or something like that. Like that's absurd. That's absurd. That's really crazy to me. Yeah, that's crazy to me. My next point I want to talk to you about is we need to win this fucking game against Seattle. This is
Fly,
our
man.
rivalry.
Stop cursing, man. That's enough. You cursing a little too much. I know you're excited though. It's all good.
My bad. I don't want to get you demonetized. My bad. We really need to beat Seattle. Seattle is our rivalry. They play well. They know how we play. But I really feel like it's time for us to cook them up. Danny Gray come out the woodworks with some deep balls. George Kittle getting in this offense. I hope George Kittle can play. I mean, he practiced this week, so that should be a good sign. He didn't practice last week. I knew he wasn't going to play last week. You know how that goes. But he practiced this week. We'll see. Do you think Kittle got a shot at playing, or?
I think he does. If he practiced yesterday, I'd be surprised if they kept him out. I guess it depends how hard it's raining. They'll probably look and see if it's safe. Fly Guy, I got to take a couple more calls before the show's over. Thanks for calling in, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely, man. Of course.
All right, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Peace. Mr. Blue Magic, man. That's a name brand. What's up?
What's going on, Brand? Brand, first, I'm going to keep this short.
Okay.
But I love your takes. I love the fact that whether you are a fan or not, I still believe you keep the same energy. You don't look you've been on Play the Kid, but you haven't let him slack.
Right.
You pointed out his deficiencies.
Right.
So I want to touch 3 points.
Sure.
The media, Kyle, and Kyle is a coach. First off with the media, Trey Lance is getting crucified not because of his doing. Trey Lance is getting crucified. Oh, first off, Niner Nation.
Nice.
Gotta have the Niner stuff.
Nice.
Trey Lance is getting crucified because of his situation.
Yep.
Had Trey Lance been on a team that didn't have a roster the way it was, nobody would be talking about him. They would be praising his ability to move the ball downfield.
It's true. Correct.
What I will say is
that's the most important point. That's the most important point. Let's linger there for a second. He's getting crucified because of the situation the Niners created. If he were anywhere else, people would just be focusing on the good things he did and be like, he's a project. We'll check in on him in a couple of years.
Literally. He has a Super Bowl winning roster. He's supposed to be the team is supposed to, but the team, and this is where the media has created this. The team hasn't bailed him out like they bailed out Jimmy. And I'm not here to bash Jimmy. I'm not a Jimmy fan. I never was. I didn't like giving him that contract after garbage time wins. But I'm not going to bash Jimmy. Trey is in a very unfortunate situation. We're going to go to Kyle. Kyle is not a great head coach.
No.
Hot take, Kyle's not a great head coach. Kyle shouldn't be a head coach.
Ooh.
Kyle is a great offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Let Kyle worry about scripting plays and calling them. Everything else,
Real quick, it seems like to me there's very few people who are good at both being a head coach and calling plays. Very few. And I don't think he's one of them.
I don't think
he's one of them.
I think as an offensive coordinator, the way he schemes runs, if you just give him an offensive coordinator spot and let him focus solely on that, Kyle would be the greatest offensive mind.
Yeah.
But as a head coach, he can't juggle the command of the locker rooms, and we have been undisciplined since Kyle has gotten here.
That's right.
As far as the media goes with the whole Jimmy's a winner, Jimmy has been on a winning team. He's been on a team that has had winning seasons. It's not because of Jimmy. What other quarterback would have had a leash like this?
It's like Jared Goff on the Rams. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, you put Jimmy on Detroit, tell me he's a winner.
You can't put Jimmy anywhere and tell me he's the reason that the team won. And that's the narrative that the media keeps trying to push.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy took them. Jimmy didn't take us anywhere. In 3 playoff games, Jimmy had less than 300 yards, 2 or 3 turnovers, and maybe a touchdown. We won 2 playoff games with Jimmy throwing for less than 150 yards. That is not a quarterback that is leading you in the postseason.
No.
Which is why no one wanted. There was never a market for him. And Jimmy was smart.
I said Gunn should trade him right now because he's healthy and cheap. People still don't want him.
Exactly. And you have a couple. You had Skip Bayless, you had Nick Wright, and I forgot who challenged Acho, but they all made the same point. Y'all keep saying Jimmy's great. The rest of the league told us he's not. No one traded for him. Even before they knew about the surgery. No one wanted Jimmy, especially at that price.
Right.
Grant, I love you and your father. I love everybody you bring on. I've literally subscribed to other channels because of seeing them here with you.
I love that. Hey, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New Jersey, originally from New York.
Love it. My dad's from Brooklyn.
I know.
So makes me an honorary New Yorker.
Absolutely. And it's another reason why I love your dad, because your dad I'm from Brooklyn. I'm 40. I'll be 41 this year. So your dad has seen a lot more of Brooklyn changing.
Yeah.
But your dad's a real one, and you can hear it and see it in his passion. Love the Cohns, Nana Nation. And listen, Nana faithful, we got it. We can't start being like these Cowboys fans. Okay? We are going to have a lot of ups and downs. These so-called layup games are trap games.
Yep.
Seattle looked good. And we go in the same way with the Bears. Granted the conditions, granted Kyle not only can't get his teams ready the start of the season, but the teams also hearing all this hype from the media of how great our roster is. We go into games believing, we're going to run through them.
Yep.
And
then you don't. And then what happens? Yeah.
And I swear, for the love of me, I cannot stand Nick Bosa's attitude. When I seen him in these press conferences, when I hear him talk to the media, he is so smug. He's not a team guy. For as talented as he can be, he's not a team guy. And this goes back to coaching. A lot of just because we have great players, they're giving these leashes that affect the rest of the team.
Let's stick with Nick Bosa for a second. You call him smug. He said something before the season that really rubbed me the wrong way. He talks like he's the coach of the team. And he comes out and he says, we're going to be fine this year with Trey. Our team is so good. We're so good that all he has to do is not mess it up. So what he essentially said was, we're above reproach. If we lose,
it's because of Trey.
It's because of Trey. That's what he did. And he thought he wasn't saying that, but that's what he said. And it's like,
you said it. And you said it when he first made that statement. You made a great point. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it.
Yep.
And if you know that it's going to be a learning curve, because once again, we can even if we take away what Kyle did last year, not playing him, you still have to take into account Trey has played less than any quarterback coming out
ever. There was a pandemic.
So as a team, if your admirations is to win, you're supposed to take everything and put that shit to the side. Yeah, we love Jimmy. He's great. He buys us gifts. He looks good. He's in commercials. He should be a model and all this. If I want to win, I don't care who. And I played. Mm-hmm. I ain't make it far, but I played competitively. Mm-hmm. I didn't care who was at wide receiver. I played running back. I returned punts. I returned kicks. I was a gunner as well. I played a little free safety. I was on the field almost every down. I didn't care who I didn't like on the team. I didn't
Whoever
care
gave you the best chance to win the Super Bowl.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
it.
The
thing. Everyone's like, oh, well, Jimmy gives you the best chance to win. Jimmy gives you a 0% chance to win the Super Bowl. So what are you doing?
Literally. We literally have to fight every year that we make the playoffs.
Yeah.
In spite of Jimmy's mistakes.
Yeah. Let's see if we can win a playoff game throwing 8 times. Oh, wow, we did it. How did we do that? That was amazing.
But
Can we
Jimmy,
do it again?
and
No.
those are the things.
Yeah.
Those are the things that these media heads always leave out.
Right.
Oh well, Jimmy's a winner. Jimmy's a yeah. He was on. Think about all the guys who never see a snap. Well, then they're winners as well.
Yeah. That's right.
They have winning records.
Ross Dwelly is the ultimate winner. Just having him on your team. Blue Magic, I got to take a few more calls before I end the show, but that was a GOAT call right there. That was great. Good stuff. Anytime. Leave it to a guy from New Jersey to just drop the mic like that. That was just phenomenal. Kingdom One Wrestling says 49ers play 3 division games in the first 9 weeks. If they start like they did last year, could the season be over halfway through? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to project that far ahead. Route runner, thank you. Niners got 2 teams, the Jimmy team and the Trey team. And if you got 2 teams, you got no team, right? Isn't that the same? Jonathan Chavez says Colin Cowherd straight hater. Guess he's hurt too. Yes. Okay. BX Niner for life, man. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Grant?
How you doing?
Love the show, man. I'm doing good, doing good. Got somewhat of a tinfoil hat type of theory going on with Garoppolo.
Love it.
I was thinking about it. I told you a while back that, Jed and everybody saying they had the money to keep Garoppolo and everything. Then this offseason, they gave him permission to go and look for a trade. He went and got surgery, screwed himself over.
Mm-hmm.
What if it wasn't that the Niners decided to go to him and say, hey, let's cut your salary. We'll keep you here. We'll put you as trades backward. What if he went to the Niners and said, listen, I'm not finding anything out there. What can you do for me to keep me here and bless me? Why you think there's a no trade clause and all those incentives to make 18 mil versus the 6 that he's guaranteed?
Maybe he wants to be here.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm betting against Trey. He's going to struggle. I'm going to get a chance, and I'll play better on the Niners than I would play anywhere else because I know this team. I got Kittle. I got Debo. Those are my guys. I'm not going to put up numbers anywhere else like I would here. Let me stay here. Possible.
Yeah, he's comfortable. And like you said on a previous podcast.
And that also, real quick, every day that he doesn't play and Trey loses, the legend of Jimmy Garoppolo grows. He's great. He's great. He would have won that game, and he was elite. It's like, did he improve just because he didn't play? It's almost like that's happening.
There's no legend with Jimmy Garoppolo. There's a legend with the Niners.
Yes.
As a team, when they come together as a team and put in their team play, that's the legend. It's not Garoppolo. Garoppolo's winning percentage and win-loss percentage is because of his backup behind him, his offensive line, his wide receivers, his tight end, his running back, his gameplay, his defense. If it wasn't for our elite defense, Garoppolo would have been 14-34 versus 34-14.
That's right. That's right.
He's not a starting caliber quarterback. He's been proving that all over. The team has been carrying him on his back and making him look good.
If he were a starting caliber quarterback, the fact that he's healthy and on a backup salary right now, teams would be tripping over themselves to trade for him, right?
I agree.
But he's not a starter, and he's pretty much getting paid exactly what he should be getting paid. And people are like, do we need a backup? No.
It's true.
No. Yeah.
What I believe I also heard you talking about him going to Dallas, or I heard about someone talking about him going to Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas ain't going to do it. Dak is now, I heard, 4 weeks versus the 6 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, forget
versus
that.
6 weeks. 4 weeks. Why are you going to bring somebody to take over for 4 weeks?
You know what they should do then? Cut him. Who cares?
I agree. They need to get rid of him because and just like you were saying earlier, I agree. Ever since Jimmy was officially the backup and he's on the practice squad and he's warming up with Trey, throwing side by side with him, and the first half of the game, Trey was doing beautifully. I'm sorry. For me, the game was going smoothly for him for the first 2.5 quarters. Then it went downhill. Our defense fell asleep. They went to bed, just like you said on the previous one. They weren't ready for a full 60-minute game.
Nope, they were not. No.
They were not at all. Neither was our offense. After the second half, which is where we normally wake up and destroy teams, we did it in the first half somewhat. Second half, we were okay. And then we went to bed.
Yeah.
Our defense, forget about it. They got lost. Don't know what happened.
Yeah.
That's my 10 hat theory with Garoppolo.
In week 2. I'm expecting them to show up in their home opener week 2. They better.
Oh, I hope so too, because I have them on my fantasy as my defense.
Nick Bosa said they were going to carry the team all the way this year. So let's see it, Nick.
They've done it the past few years.
They can do it. Now you got to do it.
They've done
right
it
now. Yeah.
Yeah. They got
to.
to.
Niner for life. Good call, man.
All
Thanks
right,
for calling in.
Yep.
Later. All right, guys. I got to end the show. Jodeci, I know you've been waiting for like an hour, but you smoked like 3 blunts on camera, man. No, I mean, have a good one. I can't have you on the show like that, man. I mean, just come on next time. You're so high. I appreciate you, though. Hey, have a good one, man. Smack Jones, sorry I didn't get you, man. I'll get you first next time, man. I got to get to the gym before the day ends. Have a good one, everyone, and stay